What's up everyone, my name is Jason, I'm the project manager for Denon DJ, and today we're at Guitar Center Studios to give you an exclusive look at the Denon DJ SC5000 Prime multimedia player. The SC5000 features a 7-inch multi-gesture touchscreen, dual layer playback, which means you can play 2 tracks at once on a single player, a high-definition color center jog wheel display, and performance pads for creative flow. The SC5000 features 24-bit 96K full digital output. This is the Denon DJ legacy sound and will sound amazing on any high-end audio system. First up, let's take a look at the multi-gesture touchscreen. You notice that it's instantly familiar like an iOS device, where I can swipe up to navigate, swipe down, I can swipe to the right to actually load it to the deck. Taking a look at the waveform here, it's very smooth. The waveform is actually moving at 55 frames per second. I can also do additional gestures here where I can pinch to zoom out, or I can pinch to zoom into the waveform. I'm going to stop this, bring it up again, and show you that I can quickly swipe to the left there, and that loads it to a prepare folder where I can play that track later on. Also immediately available on the touchscreen, you have access to all of your crates, you have access to your playlist, there's the prepare folder again, or your traditional folder navigation if you had a thumb drive that wasn't analyzed music. You can also do a quick search here where I can filter by genre, artist, album, BPM, and key, or I can actually pull up a QWERTY keyboard and I can search for a track, and you notice that the results are instantly populated. Once you're in the refined list here, you can actually sort as well. So I'm going to hide the keyboard and I can sort by key, I can sort by BPM, artist, album, etc. It's really intuitive and really great way to navigate and find the tracks you're looking for on the fly. So the SC5000 also features a very unique feature, and that is the dual layer playback capability. So on the screen here we can see an overview of 2 different tracks that are playing, and I can quickly just navigate through the track by swiping my finger across the waveform, or I can switch the layer now and do the same thing on the opposite deck. You'll notice what happens here when I close out the menu, that the jog wheel actually changes color. Again, this is to help you visually understand which layer you're playing audio back through. The dual layer playback function is available as analog outputs and digital as well. The next feature I want to talk about is the 8-inch capacitive touch jog wheel. You'll notice that the jog wheel has a center-inch high-definition color display, which is great for album artwork. This is a great callback for guys that are used to playing on vinyl when they used to associate all their music based on the record label. The high-definition color display can also be used to show your custom branding. On top of the album artwork or your custom branding logo, you can also change the platter color. All you have to do is hit the shortcuts menu, pull up the color wheel, and again, we can change that color based on your preference as a DJ. Maybe it's your branding, or you might need that different color to associate which layer you're on. So the next unique feature I want to talk about is the 8 performance pads and the performance pad modes. The SC5000 features hot cues, multiple looping modes, rolls, and a slicer. Let's take a look at the hot cue section first. So of course you can set all your hot cues in the software beforehand, or you can set them on the fly during playback or a live performance. Easily set them by pressing or triggering the pad, and you can delete them by pressing Shift and pressing the corresponding hot cue pad that you'd like to delete. We even go a step further and we allow you to name these hot cues using the Engine Librarian software, and those names would be shown up here on the display. Right now they're shown as Q1 and Q2 as the standard naming. Okay, so let's find a track that I've already set some hot cues on, and I've already named them in Engine Librarian as well. So again, I find the track I want, swipe to the right to load it to the deck, and you can see here that the track immediately loads. We've got my mix-in, my drop, my bridge, and all those hot cues are actually laid out there where I know exactly what's happening in the music. So let's just listen to see what that sounds like. So there you can see I quickly navigated to the point in the track that I wanted to trigger with the hot cue, just because I knew I named it earlier, so I knew I was coming in on that drop. I also then activated the slip mode functionality, which allowed me to rearrange the vocal stab and then quickly just jump in and out of the tracks and kind of rearrange it on the fly. So the next performance pad mode I want to talk about is the looping. The SC5000 actually features 2 individual looping modes. Okay, so I've loaded a track with some loops that I already saved prior to today. So I've got 3 pre-saved loops here, and you can see that I actually named them as loop 1, a vocal loop, and then loop 3. And I can quickly trigger them just by pressing the performance pad. You can also manually store and set new loop points on the fly on the SC5000. So I'm just going to play the track back. I actually already have a loop here, so I'm going to beat jump forward, get to a place where I don't have a loop, and all I have to do is press the pad once and press it again, and now that loop is saved and written to the performance pad. It's also written to the file, so the next time you load this track, those loops are recalled and they stay with you wherever you take your engine library collection. The second loop performance mode is a more traditional, where it's laid out where you actually have quarter, half, 1 beat, 2 beat, and all the way up to 32 beats. And those are laid out across the 8 pads. So again, all you have to do is press one of the pads, and you can see here on the screen that we've indicated or triggered a 8-beat auto loop, or you can go down to a 4-beat, 2-beat, etc. And they're all laid out beautifully on the screen. On top of that, you can go back to the original loop mode and press any one of the empty pads, and you can actually save that loop, and now you can recall that later as well. The next pad mode I want to talk about is the roll mode. So to activate it, just press the roll button. Now you can see that the pads are illuminated in green and purple. The green are the traditional roll sizes, where the purple are your triplet sizes. So you can do some really creative things with the triplets and the standard rolls. Let's take a listen to what they sound like. So there I was actually loop rolling inside a saved loop, which is really cool. And again, this is an industry first on the SC5000 Prime. So the last performance pad mode I want to talk about is the slicer pad mode. A slicer actually chops up your beat into 8 beat segments, and you can change the slice domain size with the parameter buttons. To activate slicer, simply press the slicer pad button. So let's take a listen to see what that sounds like. So there I was just triggering different slices, and I was using the parameter buttons to adjust the slice domain size. The SC5000 has multiple inputs for your media sources. On the front of the player, you've got easy access to a USB as well as SD. You'll notice that those are nicely tucked in the front, so there's no risk of actually knocking or breaking them during a performance. On the rear panel, there's dual RCA analog outputs as well as digital outputs for both of your layers. There's also an additional 2 USB ports for additional media sources. There's an Ethernet linking cable so you can connect to other SC5000 units or the X1800 mixer. The SC5000 is also equipped with a protection electrical circuit just in case there is an interruption in power during your performance. When this happens, the unit actually safely ejects all of your media and continues to play the audio until the power is restored. Alright guys, thanks so much for stopping by to check out this sneak peek on the Denon DJ SC5000 Prime. The SC5000 Prime is a killer product. There's so much more I'd like to show you, but you gotta check it out for yourselves. So go to your local Guitar Center store or check it out online at guitarcenter.com.